Well, hi.
Hi there, Minder.
Hi. I like your Maleficent cup.
Shanks. It's the other side. It's a Ray Dunn from TJ Maxx I got like while ago. The other side says Mistress of Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because
Mistress of all evil.
I don't buy shit regular price. We buy shit on sale in this house. It'd be blasphemy if I have to pay full price for some shit. I'm always looking for a bargain.
Same.
So TJ Maxx it is. We just got done recording another episode and was made apparent that I should have drank some tea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to be doing through this episode. We're going to be sipping and spilling.
Yeah. All that
some
tea.
Today.
Mm-hmm.
All that tea. Maybe that's what we're going to call it. All that tea, bitch. Hi, we're a podcast. And we are here talking to you today. I'm Nikki. That's Amanda. Say hi, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda. Yep. Talking about podcasty things.
Yep. Podcasty things. We are two neurodivergent best friends traveling the neuroverse together because we are living in a neurotypical world and we are not neurotypical girls. Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
We have a rather ambiguous topic today, but a good conversation nonetheless. We are talking about what, in summary, ma'am?
Basically, and this is something we thought about literally 5 minutes before hit record, but it's kind of like censorship. When is it appropriate? When does it go too far? Basically, or even if you want to get more specific, like trying to wrap the world in bubble wrap and how that's not always obviously not feasible and not always possible to do, and kind of like how people get mad that certain things exist because certain other people might see the thing existing and that's bad. Right. So, and then that thing should be canceled. It's like, okay, no, but whatever.
Right. So we have several different, we're going to tangent quite a bit, relatively staying on topic, but there's several aspects of this I kind of want to touch on. If you have thoughts, since I sort of started last time, do you want to start with your thoughts and like a direction you would like to take it first?
Yeah, so my big thing is I'm more leaning in the topic of censorship for the sake of trying to prevent certain people, and like in the case I'm probably gonna be speaking of today, like say children, like trying to prevent children from learning that something exists or having to avoid discussing a quote unquote hard topic with your child. The first thing I think of is anytime any commercial, TV show, any sort of thing involves like a gay person, well, why would you show that? Because now I have to talk to my kid about that gay people exist and why two men are holding hands. And I don't want to have that conversation with my child. It's like, okay, but you're a parent, you have to have you could ignore it, I guess. You could just say, I don't know, when a child asks. But it's kind of like for years and years, like parents have been trying to cancel, like certain parents, obviously not all parents, like try to cancel like shows like Family Guy. Even though Family Guy is on Cartoon Network, technically, it's on Adult Swim as well, which I think at the earliest started at 10 o'clock when your child should be in bed. So if your child's awake, like I was a child awake at 10 p.m. because as we discussed in the last episode, I am not a morning person. So I watched Family Guy. My mom did not let me watch South Park or Simpsons, so I never get any references to those, but I did watch Family Guy. And so I know throughout the years, parents have been saying, like, Family Guy should be canceled because it's an adult show and my child is living in a world where adult shows exist, and I don't want that for my child. And it's not like to me, it's like not a black and white thing, right? Like there is a very large gray area. Like should children be exposed to actual bad things? Like, should they be exposed to, like, murder on live television? No. Should they be exposed to, like, what is we'll call it corn? Like, should they be exposed
Yeah.
to corn? No. Like, obviously not. Like, I'm not saying, like, "Oh, just let your child live their life, just, show them everything, it's fine." That's not what I'm saying, but, like, don't bubble wrap your child and, like, get mad when someone makes something that isn't for children. Like, I've seen so many posts where parents will be like, say a creator curses in their, like, reel or whatever, and there's always one Karen clutching her pearls saying, "You would be funnier if you just didn't curse. Like, can't you discuss your topic without cursing? Like, there are children on here." I'm like, "Okay, one, children, you have to be over 13 technically to have an account on most social medias. So if your child is under that age and they have an account on this social media, that's your fault, not the creators. And also they can make whatever they want. Uh Obviously within the terms and conditions of the platform they're posting on. So if you don't want your child to hear such things, don't let them be around it. That's a you problem. Like, you can't expect everyone to sanitize their language 100% of the time just because your child might hear it. That's not how the world works. So, that's me speaking as a childless lady, as JD Vance would call me, a child. I don't have cats, but basically I'm a childless cat lady. So that's my viewpoint of it, like, you can't get mad that things for adults exist.
Right. And I can weigh in on this topic as someone with children.
Mhm.
I don't shelter my kids from much. Obviously, there is some level of understanding that they are not ready for in some realms. Do I want them watching murder taking place, like you said? No. But do they at some point need to understand that that is a thing that happens? Yes. Um, I tend to approach things from a realm of if they ask you a question, don't lie to them, but give them the age appropriate answer to that question, right?
Mhm.
Like Nicholas asked, when he started getting old enough to understand the human body, right? And perfect example. I was gonna have my surgery, my hysterectomy, and this was what 2.5 years, almost 3 years ago. We're rolling up on February; it'll be 3 years, which is fucking crazy to think. And he was asking what it was, why it's gonna happen. Like he wanted to know. Also, an autistic kid, he wants to know why, right? And he is I will toot my kid's horn for a second. He's very intelligent, as you know. Like, yes, he's still a 12-year-old kid. At the time, he would have been, what, 9, 11, 9 or 10. But he wants to know things and has a curiosity for things that are much higher level things than most 9 or 10-year-olds are asking about, or even that his brother will ask about. It's just he has a curiosity for more adult oriented things. And when I say that, I don't mean fucking porn. You know what I mean? Like we know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully. He likes to have adult conversations and be
Like,
talked to
mature
like an adult.
conversations.
Mature,
Yeah.
mature conversations. And he likes to be spoken to like an adult. So when he asked me, I explained to him, well, women have a uterus, and that uterus is where you came from. It's not. Yes, it looks like you were in my stomach, but you weren't. There's an organ in there that you grew in, and that organ is not working anymore, and so that organ has to come out in order for me to feel better. And I said that organ is also what causes me to have periods. And remember, I've explained periods to you before, right? And he said, yeah. And I did. We watched like a whole YouTube video on like the reproductive process, like what it looks like when an egg drops down a fallopian tube and goes into the uterus and is implanted. Like we watched the whole thing on how a baby grows because he wanted to understand it. And like it was an educational YouTube video for a kid his age or a little older, but it was not a topic that I was like, "Oh, I'm just getting my mommy parts taken out." Like I don't do that shit. Um I try to give them the truth without giving them an age, without giving them information that isn't necessary for them to have at their age, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um and I feel like that's the best way that a child's going to learn. If they ask you a question, don't fucking lie to them. Because listen, we were all kids at one point. We always knew when our parents were fucking lying to us.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
when your mom you knew, like you may not have known why or like understood what they were trying to hide from you, but you could always tell when they were trying not to tell you something,
Right.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we were not dumb as children. We figured it out. Kids are not dumb. They're going to go figure it out one way or another.
It's also kind of like we said earlier, tangents. It's kind of like when you compare states, like based on the topic of like sex education, stuff like that, even health education. When it comes to, like, comparing states or counties or whatever districts that will do abstinence only sex education versus ones that teach about safe sex, the ones that like overwhelmingly, like the ones that do abstinence only have higher teen pregnancies
Yeah.
because teenagers are gonna have sex. Obviously not all of them, but they're gonna have sex because they're
Right.
teenagers and they're horny. Okay,
Right.
and there's hormones for a reason. Like, it's called teenage hormones for a reason.
And they peak at a certain time for a reason.
Yeah,
Like
and
that's
so
just what happens.
so like teenage pregnancy has gone down. Like, I think since the 90s, it's gone down
Yeah.
because I think kids are becoming more and more aware. But unfortunately, the more red states that want to try to hide this stuff from kids, especially like nowadays, like maybe when we were kids it was easier to like hide that shit because we didn't have like social media to like learn all this
Right.
stuff, or YouTube and
And the
everything.
internet would have been
And
something that was like
yeah,
noticeable that you were getting on, right?
right.
Because it made a lot of fucking noise when it booted up.
Yeah,
So,
and so now it's like harder. So now it's very archaic. Like I have an iota, a very small iota of understanding. Like, they think they're protecting their kids. Like, oh, if I just teach them that just don't have sex, then they will just not do it. I'm like, okay, that's a very naive way of thinking.
right.
It's it just baffles me. It's like and so you show them the data of like, okay, but you notice that you in this state have a far higher like pregnancy rate or even STD rate when you teach abstinence only versus another state that doesn't. Where
Right.
is the disconnect? This is not an example of correlation does not equal causation. This is definitely correlation equals
Right.
causation.
Right. Exactly.
Like, it matters. And so like you said, I don't think, I can't really remember like my mom, like I honestly cannot tell you if like my parents like sat me down, had like the sex talk, or if it's just something I wasn't like interested in, or because I did like they didn't, because like for our school we had like our science teacher, like we had a uh I forgot how long it was, but it was like certain, like we had like a period of like where the science teacher would teach kind of like a basics health class that included sex education, and your parent could opt out of that,
Yeah.
and so you do something else for that
You still
class.
can.
And this was in middle school,
Hmm.
so had that. Okay, and then in ninth grade we had actual health class. So ninth grade we were like 14 typically, and so we had actual health class, and which wasn't a way, that wasn't something you could opt out of, I don't think. um but that sort of stuff, like, kids will figure it out, especially like nowadays kids can find out so much information. with or without their parents' knowledge.
Right.
It's for better or for worse. Like, yes, obviously, like there's some things like kids shouldn't have access to, but the internet makes it really easy to have access to.
Right.
But if you really are really worried about it, either don't let your kids have tablets or phones or something, or install parental locks or something like basically something that's not easy for them to guess
Right.
and get
It
around.
goes back to it's on the parent.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
It
on the
falls on the
parent.
parent
Yeah,
to
so
deal with that.
it's not
It's
up
not
to the
society's
yeah the
job
society's
to
not going
teach
to
your
parent your
children
yeah the
that
society's not
shit.
going to parent your children. That's your job. And like I told Nikki before we started recording, it was kind of like when the first Deadpool came out, there were so many parents mad. Like they took their kids to go see Deadpool, got mad that it was rated R, even though it says
Very
it's rated
clearly
R.
stated it was, and
It's they
fucking
say rated
Deadpool.
R, and like I understand, like if you don't know who Deadpool is, you say like, oh, a Marvel movie. Yeah, all my kids love the Marvel movies. Like all the other Marvel movies are PG-13. Like this will be fine. And then you go in, and Deadpool is getting pegged by his girlfriend with a strap on. So I mean, I understand, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also it, like getting mad, like, and then wanting to like cancel Deadpool. Like I understand, like getting upset that you took your kids, like getting upset with yourself, like, oh, I should have done more research. That's different than getting mad that the movie exists,
Right.
that the movie was made, and that they act like they were bamboozled. Like there were
Right.
some people that were genuinely annoyed, that it felt like they were tricked. It's like it's not like they advertised the movie as if it was like a Care Bears movie and
Right.
then showed you Deadpool.
Right.
Like
It,
you can look up to see how why something is rated the way it is.
correct.
So
Because it's
that
like pretty
yeah,
much it's like
and even
so.
like the MPAA is a board of like parents and I think some religious figures or something. Like I don't remember. I remember reading about it. And I'm like, that's what the MPAA is. It's not an
Mhm.
official like government thing. It's just like a board of Karens basically to oversee what things. And same with like video games. Like I remember every GTA, every like Call of Duty or whatever, they get mad that like their kid could like not necessarily their kid could go buy the game, because a lot of like at least back in the day like GameStop and stuff would prevent a child, like someone, from buying a game like that's under the age for like an M-rated game. But then if you go in and buy the game for your kid and then your kid plays it and you're like, "Oh, this game involves you beating the shit out of prostitutes," and then getting mad at GameStop for selling you the game that you asked for, like that just baffles me.
Right. At what point is it your fault that you did not do your due diligence and look into the
They just want
things?
to take the blame. It's nothing's their fault.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Was it
okay,
like the
you're done.
Five Nights at Freddy's thing? Because I remember like one time I was at your house and you were like, "You are not watching. No, you are not watching that channel."
Yeah, because some stuff is of Five Nights at Freddy's is perfectly fine. He's not scared of that shit. Okay, try as we may to make him scared of it to where he quits watching that shit. He's not afraid of it.
He probably just thinks it's funny.
Yeah, he does, and whatever, that's fine. But there are some people's channels that choose to create things with Five Nights at Freddy characters that are expressions of very adult things and themes that are not necessary for a child his age to be watching.
Do you remember Happy
So,
Tree Friends?
yes.
Yeah, I remember we watched Happy Tree Friends. That was not
Yes.
appropriate for kids.
No. We watched a lot of shit that wasn't appropriate for kids. However, um, which is why like I don't freak out too much about it, but it's like at the same time, once I know that the thing was like, okay, that's really not appropriate, and here is why it's not appropriate, and I explain it to him, he's like, oh, okay, and then he's fine with it. Like, and he doesn't watch it anymore. So, but it's my job as a parent. Like,
Like you don't get
if I
mad that the channel
exactly
exists.
if I would have watched a few videos before saying, yes, you can watch this, then I would have known that that's not something appropriate and he would have never laid eyes on it. But also at the same time, I'm not trying to shelter my kid to the point to where he has no idea how to handle things when he comes across them either. Because think about it that way. Now he understands what things are inappropriate in a video that he should not be watching, right? Or if these themes come up in a video, you need to turn the video off and just come and tell me. He now understands and can use discretion to not watch things that shouldn't be watched, right? I'm teaching him these are the things to look for that are not appropriate. And when they are not appropriate, and when you find something that's not appropriate, say something. Like,
See
I'm not
something,
going to
say
be mad
something.
at you. Exactly. See something, say something. I'm not going to be mad at you for having clicked on a video that you weren't unaware of and then watched it and then found something inappropriate. As long as you come and tell me, Mom, I found something inappropriate in the video and I turned it off, we're good. You know? Like, but at the same time, he has a YouTube account that I monitor and is restricted for his age. So, like, if some things slip in there, they slip in there. I don't, I can't help that, but I at least can have the discussion with him. And at the end of the day, it is my job as his parent to filter his entertainment according to what I feel is appropriate for him. It's not YouTube's job to filter that. Right? It's just not. I'm sorry.
Like they try, but
they try.
Like I've seen commentators, like comment channels that will be like, let me show you this one channel that is geared towards kids, but they are severely inappropriate. And it's like
Correct.
where they're like think of Colleen Ballinger, Miranda Sings. Like I remember like I had no idea who she like I knew she was because I remember like seeing her book when I worked at Barnes and Noble. I just had no idea what the shtick was. I thought her real name was Miranda Sings. And so I just thought she was like a comedian. I did not know that she was someone that was geared towards children. And so I was like, I guess like there's like weird characters, like goofy characters. And I thought maybe that's what was it. But then when they showed like, oh, these are the type of content, like this is the type of content she created and how suggestive it was, I'm just like, maybe you shouldn't be suggesting that to children.
Yeah, she's a whole thing. We could talk a whole episode about Colleen, good old Colleen Ballinger.
Or a little ukulele apology video, which wasn't really an apology.
No. The toxic gossip train. Yeah. Fucking catchy. I'll give her that. It's catchy. But inappropriate for her to be speaking on because she's a piece of work. But anyway, yeah, I just think that's the kind of thing that falls back on the parent, and it's not on the creator of the content that you don't want your child watching, whether that be a movie or a video game or a whatever, to then have to be bombarded with your Karen-ness because your child watched something that you did not vet first as a parent. Like, it's just not necessary. I could understand if it was actually deceptively marketed towards children, like a Colleen Ballinger thing. Yes, light her ass up, right? If your kid finds something as deceptively marketed towards children, and you find out that is absolutely inappropriate, and nowhere anywhere is it being stated that this has any kind of inappropriate content, that is not okay. And yes, you can light those people up. Go for it. But you cannot be mad about, especially the Deadpool example. That blows my mind. Like, all you have to do is Google Deadpool before you take
same with Ted. I remember Ted was
exactly. That was never supposed to be a kids movie.
It's like
neither is fucking Deadpool.
It's Seth MacFarlane playing a teddy bear and Mark Wahlberg, both who are like cursed like sailors, but it's also like I understand it's like a CGI teddy bear, but that doesn't make him fucking Winnie the Pooh. Okay?
No, do your fucking homework. Stop making it the world's problem that you didn't do your fucking homework before you decided to partake in some sort of entertainment that you felt was inappropriate. That's not the world's fucking problem. It's just not. I'm sorry.
Like you were talking about like seeing Red.
Yes.
Like I haven't seen the movie. I know what it's about. Like I know why people were mad about it, but I want to get like your take on it because I actually haven't seen it.
Yeah, so my example, like you gave the Deadpool example, my example of this, I actually on my old show, I have an entire episode on this, and I made an entire episode on it because I was fucking furious when after this movie came out, at all of the Christian Karens that were flipping their fucking extensions out of their fucking head. They were ripping tracks out over this fucking movie, okay? Writing dissertations about how awful this movie is and how dare Disney make a movie that depicts a child actively disrespecting their parents and the parents just allowing it to happen, and it's just a disrespectful movie and it's teaching our children to be disrespectful to their parents and da 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 da
And the
da.
same thing, like, what about, like, was it talking about periods or something?
Oh, we're yeah, and now we have to explain to our 6-year-old what a period is and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, listen here. I came I came off the rails because here's the thing. Yes, it's a Disney movie, okay? Um, but again, if you read the description of the movie, you would understand that this Disney movie was set in the 90s, okay? It was also about preteen girls. What's happening in the 90s with preteen girls? We were boy band obsessed. We were getting our periods for the first time. We were having crushes on boys. Like, this was what was going, I mean, provided you liked them. That's what's happening in this movie, okay? It's depicting this young girl in a traditional Chinese family trying to balance her life and her wants and needs as a preteen girl living in the 90s, 2000s era, being boy crazy and just trying to be a young teen girl, and her parents' very traditional Chinese family expectations of her, okay? And they are like, the parents are like like caretakers of this temple that's in their town. And or I'm not exactly sure what they call it, but you know what I mean. That's the best word I have for it. It's a religious
Like a
place where people
shrine
come.
or something?
Yeah, something. Yeah, but it's like it's a community thing people can come to, you know. Um they're caretakers of it. And the theme is that, because of course it's a Disney movie, so we're not dealing in reality here. That's about as reality as it gets. But the theme is that this girl is there's a family, what they would call a curse or something, where the women in the family all turn into red pandas when they turn of a certain age. But they have to fight it and end up, most of the girls are told to, like, there's a ritual they do to get that panda spirit out of them, and they put it in an amulet because no one in the family has ever been able to control their panda. Okay.
Sorry, I just didn't know that. Like, I knew, like, she turned into a red panda. I just didn't know
Yeah.
why. So that to me, that's
So
also, I
it's
was
a
like, oh, okay.
generational thing. All the women in her family have done this
I thought
since
she
the
got it.
beginning of their family line.
I thought she turned into a panda because she disrespected her mom or something.
No, no. But that I give that tidbit of information because it's important to what I think the central theme of the fucking movie was. So it's a multi-generational thing that happened, okay? And it's in on the mother's side. And it's all the women on the mom's side of the family that get this panda spirit when they turn of a certain age. No one's ever been able to control the panda, so all these women they found a way to take the panda spirit out and put it in an amulet so that it's not gone, but it's not controlling them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think her name's May. She ends up turning into the panda, but she has no clue what's happening to her because nobody ever fucking talked to her about it. It was a big ass secret, okay? Her mom never fucking told her about it. Her aunties never fucking told her about it. No one spoke of it, okay? So she had no fucking clue what was happening to her. And she thought, oh my god, my mother's never gonna fucking believe that this is happening. I don't know what to do. And what happens is when they get upset or whatever, the panda comes out. Once they get this ability, whenever she gets upset or angry, is when she turns into the panda. Or excited or whatever. Big emotions turn her into the panda. So not only is she got a fucking panda spirit in her now, it's making her turn into a panda, but she's also,
And a giant
like,
red panda at
a
that.
giant red panda at that. And then her mom is like, has all these expectations of her, and she's trying really hard to be a good student and all these things. And her mom, she starts acting out and acting weird. And the mom finds this journal under her bed of these pictures she was drawing of this boy that worked down the street at a market that she had a crush on. The mom drags this little girl down the street to the place where this boy works, throws these pictures of the boy down on the counter, and is like, "You better not be touching my daughter." Da, 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 da. Freaks out on the boy, embarrasses the shit out of her daughter. Okay, could you imagine the fucking humiliation?
Just kill me at that point.
Exactly. And that's not the only time this woman embarrasses the shit out of her. Okay, so she also comes to the school after she'd been acting all weird, and she comes to the school thinking that she got her period or whatever, and she is like stalking her at the school, and then the fucking school security comes and causes a scene, and all the kids in her class see her mom outside getting carted off by fucking security, and she goes, "I'm just trying to give you your pads. You forgot your pads." Embarrasses this girl in front of her entire class. And then that's when she turns into the panda at school for the first time, and her friends find out about it. She goes into the bathroom, turns into the panda, and her best friends find out about it. Well, then they start trying to raise money to go to this concert. That's the big climax. They all want to go to this boy band concert, and her mom won't fucking let her. And so they start raising money by having May turn into the panda and like have people pose with pictures with her and do these kind of things. Well, her mom ends up finding out that she has been turning into the panda. It becomes a whole fucking thing. She gets in big ass trouble. But there's this party coming up that she was asked to come to as the panda because the popular boy in school wanted everyone to see this panda at his party. Okay. So she sneaks out the fucking house, goes there anyway, turns into the panda. The kid says something ignorant to her, and she freaks out and scratched him in the face. So that's like a big conflict in there, too. Fast forward, we have all these humiliating things happening to this poor preteen girl. Fast forward, concert happens. The mom finds out she's at the concert, trips and falls, breaks the amulet, and the panda spirit overtakes her. And she's like fucking Godzilla tall. As a panda. She's huge. She's the biggest one that's ever been in the entire line. So now all these aunties that came to try to do this ritual on May and get rid of May's panda, now have to figure out how to get the mom out of her panda mode because she's pissed that her daughter took off down to go to this fucking concert. And this one part of the movie that they've centered on is that there's a scene at the concert when the mom is freaking out and May realizes that she has to help her aunties get her mom into the circle they created so they could get the panda back out the mom. And she is turned into the panda trying to distract her mom to get them over there. And she's like jumping backwards with her butt in the air trying to distract her mom, right? So she's like bent over, she's like, "Look over here, mom." And she's like jumping around. These fucking Karens said she was twerking at her mother. First of all, bitch, that ain't how you twerk. Second of all, she was doing that to try to help her mother, right? Her mother was taken over by this panda spirit that she can't control. And her aunties had to get this spirit out of her before the fucking full moon went away, because we got a full moon in the whole story too. And if that didn't happen, then her mom was never going to be able to get this panda out of her again. It was a whole thing. Don't ask me fucking why. But anyway, the movie ends with this beautiful fucking scene of them all entering the spirit realm. And it takes, she sees her mom as a little girl and sees her grandmother come up to the mom and start talking to her. And her mom's crying. Something happened. You don't hear the dialogue, but you see something happened, obviously. And then May goes and comforts her mom. And then all of a sudden, another person comes along, and another person comes along. All the aunties start coming in. And it's basically a story of healing this generational trauma of nobody talks about the panda, right?
It's also seems like repression type of thing,
yes,
hiding
and
away.
Repression. Mm-hmm. Correct. And Maylin wants to keep her panda. She's like, "I don't want to get rid of it. I know how to control it. I don't want to get rid of it. I want to keep it. And during this, in the spirit realm, you can either walk back through the portal that's there and your panda's gone, or you can choose to stay and go greet the original panda lady from your line, and then she'll like let you out the portal or whatever, and you get to keep your panda.
Basically,
So
just accepting who you are.
yes, accepting who you are, correct. So her mom chooses to leave her panda behind because obviously her mom never learned to control it. So she chooses to leave. The grandmother comes and is like, "Thank you for everything you did." The aunties are like, "Thank you for everything you did. You've healed so much." Da da da. It's a story about healing generational fucking trauma, okay? That is what the point that is missed. But all these Karens fucking talked about was her being disrespectful to her mom because she ran out the house and went to this concert without her knowing. And then they also said that they were tricking her out like a prostitute or some shit because she was taking pictures and being paid for the picture she was taking, and that the kids were riding her at the birthday party because one of the things was like, you can take a ride on the panda because she's so big that these kids can jump on her back and she can run around with them, right? But
Mm-hmm.
they made it sexual by saying they were riding her. Like, the fucking outrage. Okay, I could talk for 30 years about this. But the outrage over this with people who clearly missed the fucking point of the movie made me so angry that I made like a 45-minute long podcast episode about this. I was so mad. I had notes. I was like, and this point, and this point, and this point. I like dissected this bitch's Facebook post and went down and was like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You missed the point. You missed the point. I was just so irritated. It is, you missed the point. When you are looking at shit through a lens of this like fake fucking outrage, that how dare somebody create a movie that I don't fucking agree with, or how dare you create content that's not specifically geared towards Christian ideals and exactly perfect children and all this other bullshit. Like, take your fucking Karenness somewhere else.
Yeah, like for me personally, it's like I hate horror movies. Like
Yeah, same.
I refuse to watch them. Like I think the last horror movie I saw in theaters was The Sixth Sense, and obviously I was like, 10, 9 when that came out, and so my mom liked ghost stuff, and it was PG-13, so but we had to leave early because it's like I can't handle this stuff. But I'm not gonna be like, well, how dare these people make horror movies? Like, stop making
Right.
horror movies. Like, this is not geared towards me. It's like,
Right.
okay, like I I don't want to watch horror movies, so I don't fucking watch horror movies. That's it.
Right. And they were trying to say that like they were tricked into watching this because they thought they were safe on Disney's platform, but apparently they aren't. And it's like, bitch, go cry somewhere else about your fucking perceived safety. Get out of here. Disney don't give a shit about what you think is safe and what fucking isn't.
Also,
They
like
just don't care.
our Disney movies, like we've seen villains and stuff like fall off a cliff to their death, or
Simba dying
yeah,
in a fucking, that's not, or Bambi's mom
Mufasa.
fucking traumatized. Yeah, Mufasa traumatized me for the rest of
Yeah,
my fucking
see,
life.
having Simba
Bambi, I
walk up
still
on
won't
his
watch Bambi.
like having Simba walk up on his dead
Dead
father's
father. Yeah,
corpse,
exactly.
and same with like in Tarzan, the
Oh my
bad guy,
god.
you can see the silhouette of him being hanged.
Yeah.
So Disney didn't play, back
Yeah.
then. Like
No.
they did not play. And
I sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say it just reminds me like anytime I see posts that are mad about stuff like that, it's usually like a certain group behind it. And it's called 1 Million Moms. They're definitely not a million moms. There's definitely not a million people in the group. They just make try to sound more important. But basically, like they get mad at every single thing, and I have like examples like after you like if you want to if you have any other points to make, like I have some examples like I'll read out of like from their website, and we will not be linking their website in the show notes or anywhere
Because
because
they do not need any more
they don't need
fucking
it,
chances to be
right?
clicked on.
Because they're
Um
just terrible people.
yeah, no, I guess the only other thing I want to say is like there's so many other things in the world that you could be spending your energy getting angry about. Can you leave Disney movies alone,
Yeah.
please? Like, just go be pissed off somewhere else. But anyway, go ahead. Give your examples.
So like on their website, they will show like different articles. So I did like the like two of the more recent ones. Looks like they post weekly, based on the dates. Like one is from today, one from the October 30th, and by today I mean November 7th, and then one from October 30th. And then on the bottom there'll be like past successes, and I tried clicking on some, but it doesn't like say anything. It just like one of them just says like TurboTax commercial is now family friendly. Okay, in what way? What do you mean? And like I often think like if a commercial stops airing that they didn't like, they think they won. It's like, okay, but maybe they just wanted to air the commercial for a certain amount of time. Like maybe that
Right.
commercial was for like 6 months and then they would move on to a different commercial. But so one of the examples was posted today, the November 7th. It's called, and I've never heard of this brand. I don't know what it is, but it says urge Lundberg Family Farms to cancel its offensive ad.
Oh shit! Not Lundberg Farms. They got the cute little ducks and
Yes,
stuff.
yeah. So it says
Ugh.
Lundberg Family Farms' new "ducking good rice" commercial insinuates unnecessary profanity. Foul language or the implication of it is unneeded in this or any commercial, but that is obviously what Lundberg Family Farms intend with their play on words. The advertisement praises Lundberg's rice since the company saves and relocates duck eggs when it finds duck nests in its rice fields. Unfortunately, the ad does so with implications of foul language and suggestive dialogue. The inappropriate commercial ends with the slogan "ducking good rice." Um, it's it's like obviously they chose the wording because that sounded like just like a curse word. It ended the ad with viewers understanding exactly what was implied. This type of advertising is entirely unnecessary. They have deliberately decided to produce controversial advertisements instead of wholesome ones. 1 million moms finds this highly inappropriate. What's worse, these advertisements air during prime time when families are most likely to be watching. How damaging and destructive to children. Everyone knows kids repeat what they hear. Lundberg Family Farms should be more responsible as advertising decisions. This ad demonstrates weak marketing, and Lundberg Family Farms should have the corporate responsibility not to use an age-old euphemism that offends families. Let them know that as a parent and a consumer, you're disgusted by the company's recent marketing choices. Lundberg Family Farms needs to know that parents disapprove, and it says like take action. If you agree this marketing campaign is inappropriate, please sign a petition urging them to cancel this inappropriate commercial immediately.
My eyes rolled so hard into the back of my fucking head. I thought they was finna get stuck there.
Yeah. And then
I
yeah, go ahead.
cannot with these people. Like, who the fuck are you?
Like I remember I distinctly like the first time I think I heard of 1 million moms was when, and this was back in the day when people liked Ellen DeGeneres. Now they
Mhm.
don't, understandably. But this was back
Right.
in the day when Ellen DeGeneres was seen as kind of like a wholesome, funny. She was Dory on Finding Nemo. It's like she's
Right,
so
right.
cute and funny. And then, but she was like made. I want to say it was Dillard's, like some department store. She was made like an ambassador of.
Mhm.
Um, and I just remember the posts, the constant posts of Ellen degenerate, and they get this lesbian, like they shouldn't have any people
Oh my
of
god.
LGBT as their spokesperson. This is inappropriate. Like as if kids one would really know who Ellen DeGeneres is, and even if they did, like okay, I'm not saying like being lesbian is bad. Obviously, I don't think that, but I'm just it's like okay, they wouldn't know she's a lesbian, and if they did, does it matter? Like, it doesn't. She's not like out there on the commercial, like making out with another woman or something. Not that that would matter because they have commercials where couples kiss all the time.
Right.
But to me, I'm just like, they want to like cancel Dillard's or whatever the company was. So, bringing into that, basically, so anytime anything has remotely something like LGBT in it. Because I remember like the Buzz Lightyear movie, um, the CGI one, the recent one.
Mhm.
Like I think it showed. I think that and Finding Dory showed like a couple. I know the Finding Dory showed like I think what it was like a lesbian couple like in the background, like at the zoo or whatever it was, and they were pissed. And same with like the live action Beauty and the Beast. There was like actual theaters like in the US that banned showing the movie because it had a 2-second clip of LeFou dancing with another man. Just one little twirl, and that set him off. So, but anyway, so this one from 1 Million Moms was posted on October 30th, and it's called Pandora Be Love ad sparks controversy. And by sparks controversy, they mean we got mad about it. So the picture shows 2 women. If these women are famous, I have no idea. It just says Pandora finds it necessary to flaunt an alternative lifestyle to sell their jewelry. Jewelry company Pandora, through its liberal advertising choices, is attempting to normalize the LGBTQ lifestyle. The fact that they added Q to that, very proud of them. I tend to like stop at LGBT because like I feel like that's just a mouthful as it is. A recent Pandora commercial, radiated, initiated, accepted, expected, be love, includes a heterosexual couple, sisters, and a lesbian couple hugging, singing, and embracing one another. Unfortunately, Pandora blatantly throws homosexuality in the viewer's face with the lesbian couple. Pandora should avoid aiming to please a small percentage of consumers while pushing away conservative customers. However, it seems that the company wants to clarify its stand on this controversial topic instead of remaining neutral in the culture war. 1 Million Moms must remain diligent as we continue to stand up for biblical truth, including passages such as Romans 1:26-27, which prohibits sexual perversion of this type. I don't think the Bible talks about advertising in like commercials in the Bible, but whatever. Haven't read it in a very long time. Scripture repeatedly states that homosexuality is wrong, and God will not tolerate this sinful behavior. While there is concern about how this advertisement is pushing the LGBTQ agenda, it is also of great concern that this commercial is airing when children are likely to be watching. Take action. If you agreed this ad is inappropriate, sign a petition urging Pandora to pull its LGBTQ inclusive and be love immediately. Thank you for signing, and please share with your friends and family today. I will not, but thank you for the offer. So
I just can't. Like,
yeah.
Where is the fake outrage coming from? When did these people decide that the world must cater to them? The entitlement is just so fucking out of this world. Like, these are the same people that will bitch about the entitlement of like Gen Z and millennials and like no one wants to work anymore. These are the same motherfuckers that will do that.
These are the same. Go ahead.
When you're over here acting so entitled as to think that just because you decide to believe in the absolute bigoted nonsense that you believe in, that guess what? Because of the country we live in, you have every right to fucking believe those things. That just because you believe that everyone else in the world ought to operate in such a way that does not offend your fucking eyes. Get out. Like, get out. Get out of here. I don't understand it. Go fucking live somewhere else. I don't know what to tell you. Because every other place in the fucking world is going to be way worse than that.
Like, it's also like you said, it's the same people that think young people of today are easily triggered and easily offended.
Correct.
So it's
they don't most defendable folks.
They don't want the gay, quote unquote gay agenda to be pushed on their kids, and by gay agenda they basically means gay people exist and children might see that.
Correct.
But yet they want us to live in a theocracy to where they have such a persecution complex that they think that the minimum wage cashier at McDonald's who wishes them happy holidays is a personal attack on their religion. And just like one last thing about them, I just kind of wanted to read a little bit of their like about us page for 1 Million Moms. Mm-hmm. I love how it says, "Mom, are you fed up with the filth many segments of society, especially the entertainment media, are throwing at our children? Are you tired of all the negative influences our children are forced to contend with?" As if like someone's like making their children like sit down with like the
Their eyeballs stuck
over the
open.
Clockwork Orange thing, like their eyes propped
Yeah.
open. If so, we urge you to become a member of 1 Million Moms. We are a division of the American Family Association, which already barf, was begun to give moms an impact with the decision makers and let them know we are upset with the messages they're sending our children and the values, or lack of them, they are pushing. Our goal is to stop the exploitation of our children, especially by the entertainment media. Uh, mom, oh, Mom, 1 Million Moms is the most powerful tool you have to stand against the immorality, violence, vulgarity, and profanity entertainment media is throwing at your children. It is time to fight back. I like how it says, they call this 1 Million Moms, but then right there it says, we are searching for 1 million moms who are willing to join our fight. So they don't have a million moms in their group. They just call
because
themselves
there's
that.
not a million moms that are going to believe this fucking bullshit.
As a member of our group of 1 million moms, all fighting together, your voice can have a powerful impact. Money is the name of the game for those who exploit, and they are exploiting our children for their financial gain. Uh, like I said, having a commercial that just has like two women hugging is not exploiting your children. I don't understand that.
No.
It says, just imagine the influence you can have by joining us. That represents economic power. With 1 million moms speak as a unified voice, letting it be known that will fight with our dollars. Your voice will be heard. Like I'm assuming like they are mainly focused on, because they're a part of the American Family Association, like 1 million moms in the US, which has what, like 350 million people. You think like when Starbucks doesn't have Merry Christmas and Jesus pictures plastered on their cups during Christmas, like it might just be a red cup, and they freaked the fuck out when Starbucks just released a plain red cup because they were erasing Christianity, I guess, like during the holiday season. But like, you think you boycotting that is gonna bankrupt Starbucks? No. Um yeah, so basically that's it. Like, your voice will be heard, and it's just ridiculous. And also it says, despite our name, our membership is open to all. Singles are welcome. Okay. What about dads? Can dads join?
Apparently not.
Apparently not.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. And then we have to stop talking about this or I'm going to chuck my fucking computer through the window because these bitches make me angry. I absolutely cannot understand why this specific subsect of Christians feel that they are so fucking persecuted. You are the least persecuted group.
You're the most catered to group.
Correct. In the entirety of the United States. And if you truly feel that you are so persecuted, then here's something that I would like to point out to you. No one has ever stopped you from walking into a church because they don't believe that you have the right to worship in that building. But you have stopped women from going to receive health care because you perceive that they are there for an abortion.
Mm-hmm.
When someone tells you, when you have people picketing outside your church and making it difficult for you and your family to attend church, then you can talk to me about being persecuted.
Same with like whenever, but like before marriage equality was made national, like they wanted couples, like gay couples, to not be allowed to get married. It's like, okay, you have never had your, like, if you were like, because interracial marriage was also banned before like the 60s and stuff, so I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about in general. You as a straight couple have never been not allowed to get married because you're a straight couple.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. Yes, marriage within the confines of religion has, I'm sure whatever religion you subscribe to has its own rules on that, right? And traditionally, most religions aren't real happy about people that aren't, rocking up with a vagina and a penis to put those two things together when they get married at some sort of religious ceremony, okay? However, once marriage became something federally recognized, for straight people, gay people, whoever people, Once it became a financial transaction and became something that, like legally binds people together, then it doesn't mean the same thing anymore. Like,
Also, like
you guys have your version.
marriage is older than religion.
Correct. So, like, you guys have your version, right? And that's fine, except for when it's not. And then the country that you live in has its own thing, right? And nowhere in there has it ever said that, you have to subscribe to Christianity or you can't get married here,
It's also
you
like
know?
it's like when they don't want other people to have, basically they see people getting equal rights as oppression on them. So
Correct.
and it's like when they get mad like that, gay people get married, that other, basically any sort of civil rights have been given granted to people, like even back, you know before, like black people got the right to vote and everything. They saw it as an like attack personally on them. It's
Right.
also it's like or like you said, the abortion thing, like, well, I don't believe in abortion, so I don't think anyone should have access to it. I'm like, okay, that's like being on a diet and getting mad that other people get to eat like
Right.
cake. Like that's like getting mad that you don't get to eat cake because other people get to eat cake.
Right.
It's
And if you people could pop your head up out your ass for more than 2.2 seconds, you might see that maybe the issue lies within your heavily oppressive religion. You are not being oppressed by the world. You are being oppressed by the religion that you fucking follow. If you have beliefs this hardcore, your oppression is coming, the call's coming from inside the fucking house, okay? It's not from the folks outside, it's from internally. You are being told that there is only one way to believe, there's only one set of rules, and everybody must follow those rules or everyone else goes to hell. And if you follow all these rules, this magic person in the sky will grant you life eternal, right?
Mhm.
But the first time that you fail, you are no longer seen as good within this fucking community, right? You have to work for your worth in these communities. That is like, I don't understand. Like, I've never understood it. I've never understood it. Once you pop your head out of the religious asshole that you've been in, you can understand that the most oppressive thing is the fucking religion in which you were confined in.
and
That
like,
is
and then the fact that you want to push
forcing
that on other
beliefs on you.
people, and that you want to force your own beliefs on other people,
Correct.
and like
Anyone forcing beliefs is fucking your religion forcing them on you, and then your stupid ass believing it, and then going and spewing it all over everybody else. You are
it's
forcing beliefs on everybody else, not the fucking other way around.
it's also like coming back to like the whole trying to have the world bubble wrapped for children. They keep saying like, what if children are like, what if I'm watching like TV with my children? Like, okay, um that one, I doubt your child is paying attention to the commercial, because I know I like we had some catchy commercials in the 90s and the 2000s, but
Mm-hmm.
as a child, like, if because we didn't have fast forward or like DVR or whatever, we just use that time to go to the bathroom, or we use that time to like not pay attention to TV. So like, besides like the commercials that had little like cute little jingles and stuff, I don't really remember that many commercials. Like, there was like toy commercials and stuff, but because most of these commercials, like, I feel like if you and your kids are watching something, if it's something truly like a channel that is geared towards children, they will have commercials that are geared towards children. They will not be
Right.
seeing like that Pandora commercial, because why would a jewelry company air on like Nickelodeon?
Right.
Like, that makes no sense to me. And
The
so,
worst that's going to happen is they're going to see a fucking toy commercial that now you have to go and purchase for your kid or tell them no. And
yeah.
they're going to harass you until
S-
you tell them
s-
yes. You know what I mean?
So, in like imposing your religious belief, you can do that all you want on your children, as long as you're not, irreparably damaging them, because like I've said before, like they'll think children are so breakable, so like sensitive, that they can't, God forbid, they, like I said, they see two women hugging, or like I said, they see gay people exist, but yet they will tell them, you better live your life exactly the way I tell you, or you're going to burn in hell forever. And also, the rapture is a thing. So everyone that you love that's not like us will be stuck here in eternal damnation while we get to fly away into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And also the whole thing of like, at some point the mark of the beast is going to happen, and this is something that I was told as a child, like at
Same.
like Bible camp. Like,
Same.
the government's gonna accept the Antichrist as their leader. They're gonna oppose the mark of the beast, and they're gonna ask everyone who's like, if they're a Christian or not, and if you're a Christian, they're gonna shoot you. And like, so that's what I was told as a kid. So, but they don't think that's psychologically damaging to kids.
I'm sorry, what god is there that would want you to die for your beliefs? I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of god is that? What kind of insecure, almighty, powerful being needs you to die?
Well, I had this same like, I actually had this like discussion, or like somewhat of this discussion earlier with a coworker. I was thinking, because I was kind of like joking about like what I said to you the other day. Like, I went to bed pretty early on election night because if the apocalypse happened, at least I wouldn't be aware of it. And so I told her, and so I was talking to her, like, say like Yellowstone exploded, I would hope I'd be close enough that it would just instantly take me out, or
Right.
like an asteroid, or like a nuclear bomb. People talking about nuclear bombs. I'm like, as long as it lands relatively close to me, do I care? Like, as long as like
Right.
I'm not thousands of miles away and I have to like suffer through nuclear winter. But my point is, like, if something like were to happen, like were, say Yellowstone exploded, and like instead of instantly dying, I just now have like 5th-degree burns all over my body and suffering, I would probably just
Or
like,
dying a slow death
yeah,
of a
I'd probably just
sulfur
like
acid rain.
off. I'd probably just off
Yeah.
myself. But then I was talking about how, to some like sects of Christianity, that is considered a mortal sin. That if you kill yourself, you go to hell. And I'm thinking, okay, wait. So God, in his all omnipotent, omniscient self, can see that you're suffering, that you can't handle it anymore, and you decide that you have to end it. He was just like, okay, well, in order to reward you, I'm going to just punish you the rest of your life, the rest of your
Right.
eternal life, and eternal damnation, because you couldn't handle suffering for the rest of your natural born life. But if you are a serial murderer, like if you committed all these sorts of crimes, if you were like, let's say like Hitler, like repented right before, like, say he didn't shoot himself because, like, mortal sin. Say Hitler died a normal death and he repented right before he died. And according to Christians, he would go to heaven
Correct.
because he
And ain't
repented.
that some shit?
Yeah,
Ain't that some shit?
but then if he, if someone who is a saint, say like a nun, decided like she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and then so she does like the doctor's suicide. Well, sorry, sister, you're going to hell.
Right.
Like, make it make
Ridiculous.
sense.
It doesn't, and it never will. But that could be a whole conversation in
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, we kind of like we said, tangents.
Tangents.
Just call this episode tangents.
I think my only other point on this that I kind of wanted to make sure we touched on was like back to the censorship thing. My biggest pet peeve, apart from the stupid Karen outrage for no reason, is like something that we personally experienced as a show, getting a fucking channel strike on YouTube for using a word that pissed off the bots.
The poke.
Like, yeah, we said vaccine, and it freaked YouTube the fuck out and was like, no, you can't say that.
It didn't even give us a chance to like edit it out, because I know like a lot of channels, they'll say like, oh, I got copyright strike. Like, I got like a copyright strike, so I had to like edit that part out. Or like I said, my other example I said before, like Jacksepticeye, he said, oh, I had to like re-upload the video because I cursed and like too much, or like in the first 3 minutes of my video, so I had to re-upload it without that. But they didn't give us a chance for that. They're just like, nope, you can't air it, and you get 1 strike.
Correct. They automatically assume that because we said Well, technically it was your fault. I'm just kidding. Because a sentence was said by Amanda that sounded to the bot like we were trying to encourage people not being vaccinated or spreading misinformation. They gave us a channel strike. And when I tried to plead to them to be like, hey, what the hell? It went nowhere because you can't actually talk to somebody about this. It's all more bots and more bots and more bots until they're like, nope, you're fucking stuck with it.
And we're not
You
big enough
can't
to like,
speak to a person.
yeah, because like if you're
Like,
big enough, you can. Like if you're
you have
like
a
a huge
person.
channel, yeah, you have like a
Yeah,
person you can talk to.
exactly. But we can't. So we're just fucked. Which, whatever. But here's the thing I decided. And why I think it's fine that we don't do video shit on YouTube anymore as far as this show goes. Because it absolutely takes away from the gravity and reality of life when you can't even say sexual assault when you're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say vaccine when you're talking about trying to debunk misinformation about vaccines. You can't say porn when you're talking about something someone was charged with because they were looking at a certain kind of porn on their computer. You can't say anything around,
Or like kill your like something about
or you
someone killing
can't say
themselves.
kill
You have to say
yourself.
unalive.
You can't say they were killed or they were murdered or they were whatever. You can't say that shit without being age restricted or worse, stricken for it or whatever, or demonetized because of it. Like, you just can't even talk about certain concepts at all
Because
without
God forbid you
risking
offend
demonetization.
someone. Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's like, at what point are we going to stop doing shit like this? Because if you can't say, when you're talking about someone's story and you can't even say the word rape without being uh fucking age restricted or whatever for it, or channel stricken or whatever, it takes away from the gravity of that fucking situation.
Yeah, when you have to say graped or R worded or something, it's
Graped or
just
R worded or porn or corn instead of porn, like, just say what it is. Stop doing that. And you know what it is? If it's probably because of these one people like these 1 million mom motherfuckers who threw a huge fit that children are on YouTube, and this is something that has to happen because children are on YouTube. No, be a parent. Don't let your kid go on fucking YouTube if this is what you know is on the platform. Then don't let them do it.
mm-hmm.
Like, it is not up to the world to shelter children or make the world a safe and comfy and non-triggering place for fucking children or anyone really, when the world is not that way in fucking reality. We are trying to ascribe something to a world in which does not fucking exist. The world we live in is scary, it's dark, it's difficult, it's also wonderful and beautiful and all these other things. And when you're trying to, like you say, bubble wrap that all the bad shit and pretend like it doesn't fucking happen, or make it flowery by giving it names that aren't what it actually is, you are taking away the gravity and reality of what happens. And these children who eventually might come across this shit, or children who never get to come across this shit and then find it later in life, have no idea how to fucking handle it. They have no idea what to do with this
You gave
information.
him no coping skills.
Zero coping skills. And it's like, you can't shelter everyone from everything that might make somebody upset. Just, I'm not saying go out there and try to be a fucking troll and personally attack people and all this other shit, or seek to make people upset or trigger people or whatever. But like, we have to stop. At some point, it's got to stop. Like, when you can't even as a creator tell a story about something that happened, or be like you said, Swoop is a great example. Like a true crime documentary or a commentary channel or whatever, you can't even put that shit on YouTube anymore without flowering it up. It's disgusting to me.
Because I remember like
If you want the
YouTube used
God's
to
honest
be
truth.
like I remember like YouTube used to be like not that way. Like obviously
Yeah,
you couldn't show like we said like we couldn't show like depictions of like decapitations or whatever. You
right.
couldn't show like porn on YouTube, but you could at least like describe something that was happening in a video. You could
Right.
like within reason, obviously. I'm not like, and that's what like, that's basically what we're saying. We're not saying like, well, children should just learn that we are a lawless society and that everything just sucks. And we're not saying
No.
that. We're just saying like you can't expect the world to cater to your sensibilities.
Correct.
Because yes, should the world be a nicer place? Yes. Like, should the world be like not necessarily more child friendly, but should the world be a more like peaceful, serene yes, but that's not our world. Like, I'm
No.
sorry. Like, I'm not saying like go out and teach your kids that life sucks and everything's horrible
Right.
and like nothing will ever get better, but they're like I said, there's a large gray area. They have such black and white thinking that like either the world is this terrible, awful, dark, dreary place, or it has to be all butterflies and rainbows. Well, maybe not
Right.
rainbows. They really hate rainbows nowadays. But
Yeah, for real.
uh, but like they think like they don't realize that they have such black and white thinking that they don't know about the large gray area. Like you can you can have like I understand like well I don't understand, but like I like sympathize that it might suck that like your kid sees something that you now have to have a discussion about, but that's what being a parent is.
Right.
Like it's your job to teach them this
Right.
stuff.
It's not the world's job to make sure that they never come across shit that's
And
challenging.
and we're from the generation where we watched on live television like 3,000 people die on 9/11 and the constant news from that. Like, I'm pretty
They played
sure.
it in our classroom.
Yeah, we watched it on. We
live.
watched it like all day, and for us in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Like, so that was kind of like a wake up call for us. So I have a feeling like if that happened now, like these parents would be like, "Well, how dare they? Now I have to
They'd
explain to
lose
my
their
kids
shit.
that terrorist attacks happen." It's like,
Right.
like it's
No,
just
we watched it live. I remember
they
it
wheeled
vividly.
in the TV and it's like,
Yes,
let's watch this.
we had one up in the corner. In
Yeah,
some
that's true.
classrooms in our school had one in the corner, and where I went to school, and they had like only certain channels on it, and they called the teacher in the classroom, and said, "You have to put the news on right now.
Yeah.
These children need to see this."
Mm-hmm.
And they turned the fucking TV on and made that teacher explain to us while they're trying to process in fucking real time what is going on the TV.
And we didn't even know.
6th graders.
Yeah.
Like, we had to be able to understand what was happening because that was going to be a part of our lives forever now. Like, that is something that is forever going to be something that we have to contend with and learn about and understand. Nobody in that moment knew what the hell was going to happen, but at least everybody knew we needed to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody knew, was there going to be more? Was this going to be a massive thing? Like, no one had any idea what was happening until we did know what was happening. And then, we could start to deal with it from there. But like, it's not okay to shield everyone from everything is our major point here.
Yeah. Like certain things should be like, yes, certain things should be child friendly. You shouldn't like expect to take your child to Chuck E. Cheese and oh my god, there's strippers on a stripping pole.
Correct.
Right there. Like that's not what we're saying. But we're like, you just it just annoys me.
Walking down the street and seeing a gay couple holding hands is not going to ruin them.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? When they leave your home at the age of 18, no matter what bullshit you've instilled in them, they're going to see those things.
Mm-hmm.
And because you've instilled bullshit in their brain, they have zero understanding of what it means to be a good person, and just let people be who they are and know that that's perfectly fucking normal. They have no idea how to cope with it. They have no idea how to reconcile the things around them that are nothing like the environment they grew up in. Mm-hmm. It is absolute culture shock. And they have no clue how to fucking cope with it. They're so emotionally stunted and mentally stunted that they have zero idea how to fucking deal with them, with the things they're seeing and the way
because they're leaving their bubble for the first time.
Exactly. Stop doing that shit. These kids, listen, and if they don't find out from you, they're going to find out from fucking somebody else. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they attend a public school. And even if they don't attend a public school, because you know what? Them private school, Catholic school kids, those are just as crazy. Okay? That preacher's daughter is the biggest slut in the whole fucking class. Okay? I'm sorry. She is. You think she ain't fucking somebody outside back to the church? Absolutely she is. Because her daddy won't let her do it any other place, but she'll go find a boy, find the car, and get her done. Okay? I know because I was friends with a few preachers' daughters. Okay? Believe me. I've done seen it.
And
I've
I
done
and I
witnessed
ha-
it with my
and
own two
there
eyes.
was someone in our grade in high school who his parents were both preachers, and he was the biggest man whore
Yeah,
ever, and
exactly.
the most
Because
disrespectful man.
they were suppressed
Mm-hmm.
children.
And that's
Like
them
their
acting out.
feelings and shit were suppressed, and their questions were never answered. Don't set your kids up to fail by allowing them to seek this information out for themselves or go about life never having a context for what the real world actually fucking looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Is all I'm trying to say. And quit being pissed about shit that has nothing to do with anything other than your stupid fucking beliefs that don't matter anyway in the grand scheme of fucking life. Because guess what? When you die and I die, we're all going to the same place, the fucking dirt, bitch. Okay, that's where we're going. We're either going in a jar or in the fucking ground. Period. End of story. Like,
Get to the
that's what
fucking
it
ground,
is.
bitch.
You go in the fucking ground, bitch. Jacksepticeye reference. Anyway, I think we've done enough today.
Yeah,
What do you
we've
think?
ranted enough.
Yeah, we've ranted enough. And quit channel striking bitches. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, let's hit the fun and fuckery portion because we just need to. Okay, here we go. Okay.
Do-do-do-do.
I love that fucking video so much. The only sad part about not doing video anymore is people don't get to see that cool little graphic, but that's okay. If you want evidence of it, it's somewhere on the internet. Anyway, you need words from me. Yes,
I
ma'am?
do need words. Yep, we're doing our once again our Golden Girls Mad Lib.
It's another
Uh,
shorty.
another shorty. Thank you.
We love it.
Adjective.
Higgledy-piggledy.
Higgledy-piggledy.
And listen, I googled the weirdest adjectives, and this is what I got. They're all strange. So here we go. Here we're just gonna roll it because there's like 19 adjectives in this thing.
Which is strange. There's only like 10 words. Another adjective.
I can't read what I wrote. Redonkulous. That's what I wrote.
Okay, we got redonkulous. Another adjective.
Cattywampus.
Cattywampus. Noun.
Butt plug.
Or children. Type of liquid.
Swamp water.
Got that swamp ass. Color.
Lavender.
Lavender brown. Noun.
Goblin.
Gobbledygook. Adjective.
Fuggy. Fuggy. Fuggy.
Is it like fugly?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Uh,
I don't remember what they mean.
Adjective.
Discombobulated.
Bobulated. No, and last adjective.
Barbaric.
Okay. This is called How to Renovate a Bathroom. Sometimes a girl has to do things for herself. Here are a few higgledy-piggledy tips on how to renovate a bathroom. Don't let that redonkulous plumber tell you that it's going to be a hard job. That sounds like the start of a porno. Listen to what he has to say, but remember that you have survived many difficult things in life, like your cattywampus husband, Stan, running off with a stewardess who promised him a butt plug in Hawaii.
I bet she did, that bitch.
Check to make sure that all the water pressure is off, otherwise there may be an explosion of swamp water in your face.
Yeah, there will. Shit.
Decide what your color scheme should be, palm tree lavender, or maybe even goblin pink. Choose your fixtures. A faucet is one of the most important things to make your powder room feel fuggy. Make sure that everything you ordered is up to your discombobulated standards. Now, get to work. That powder room will be barbaric in no time. The
My
end.
God. Lord. Once again, yours was way better than mine. I think it's just the luck of the draw. You must have like the better stories, and then your shit just makes more sense. But it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. All right, guys. I gotta pee. And I'm hungry. I want to eat my nudes that are out there waiting for me.
Oh, she got them
Them good old
nudes.
lo mein noodles.
Got them nudes late.
Got them nudes. Listen, the only place nudes be going is in my fucking mouth, okay? And it ain't the kind of nudes you're thinking of. It's that good lo mein.
The NOODS.
Yeah, NOODS. Anyway, we love you.
That's all we got.
Thanks for listening to this rambling nonsense that we had today.
And we would say thanks for looking, but you can't.
That's the wrong channel.
Yeah.
Wrong channel now. Wrong area for thanks for looking. That's coming at some point. I don't know. I've not been editing any videos. Sorry. We have lots of videos to edit. We've made it all the way through Halo.
Yeah, Halo Reach. We did finish Halo Reach.
Yep.
So I think we got 9 episodes.
8 or 9, yeah. I think 8
out
or
of it.
9.
So they will be we're not really sure about the posting schedule, but
Yeah.
we at least have some stuff in the back to like, that way we can just keep making other recordings as we release them.
So my goal is to get them all edited before I ever post a single one of them. Just have everything done and ready to go. So I'm not trying to edit and keep up with a schedule at the same time. So it'll launch when it launches. Stay tuned for Thanks for Looking, our gaming channel on YouTube, where we will not be cussing. If we do, there will be dolphin noises.
Yeah, we'll try. Like like I said, it does confuse us that we can play an M-rated game, no problem, but God forbid you cuss while playing an M-rated game.
Right. So anyway, we gotta go. I gotta pee and eat some nudes. We love you, and we will see you next time.
Okay, bye.